All right, we're going to call the meeting to order right now. I want to welcome everybody. Do the Pledge of Allegiance, and General Manager will lead us in the pledge.
I will be honored to do that, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you.
Call to order. Mr. Howe?
Here.
Mr. Sigmund? Here. And I'm here. Any communications, public hearings or anything?
We do not have any communications and we do not have any public that is in attendance that wants to address us. So
Okay.
move right on.
Let's move right on to the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
It's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, say aye. Aye. About the financial items, let's jump right into those.
Yep. Under financial items, we have monthly chemical cost report for the month ending January 31, 2026. Robert Davis,
Oh boy,
you're on deck, though.
everything was good. It's $55,941.47. Like I said, there's nothing that jumps out. The one thing I did want to do was I kind of did a little bit of things. When Jason was saying that we just have to revise the budget because of the chemicals, I just wanted to let you know, we pumped 354 million gallons of water more.
Ooh.
So that if you take that by the chemicals, that equals $100,000 right there.
Yeah.
For that extra, that's an extra month and a half that you've done.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and I figured up if we just do,
Well, that's because of water loss from all the construction and everything.
if we do the average, the rest of the year for the chemicals, we'd need $106,000. So if you erase that month and a half, you'd only have $6,000 we have to adjust.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of figuring.
Yeah.
I know it's from the
Yeah.
more water usage, because you're using a whole lot more water than you were the prior year.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, you hear that? Let's go ahead and take it out of the project.
Well, we can now.
Any questions for Mr. Davis?
None, okay.
Okay, vendor history reports for month ending and year to date ending January 31, 2026. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad I have our
Move to approve
our
the report.
Okay. There's a
parliamentarian in the back.
Thanks, Jimmy.
A second to that,
Chad did.
Chad? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Gina. Keep us in line, girl. All right.
We're good.
Vendor history report, Jason.
I forgot mine, but if you guys have any questions, I can be more than happy to answer them for you. But
You know, like the back of your hand anyway.
so, but if you got nothing really unusual on them.
I looked through, I couldn't see anything to even ask a question about. You guys have any questions?
No.
No. Any questions, Chad? Okay, since there's none, all in favor accepting the report that it was presented to us by email.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moving to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's move right into the general manager's report.
All right, water system improvements project, phase 3A, Bobby Tennant.
Contract one, Northview, they just started back this week. They were off due to the weather. So they're on Hamel and Golf Avenue, doing meter services, new installs on Golf and still laying main line on Hamel. And getting services hooked up on Hamel. Their plan is to just keep those two streets running right down to 20th, try to get everything on that side of Northview down to 20th Street in the next couple weeks. Contract two, Staley, same thing. They were off for weather too. They've got that main line ran up Waverly. They're tying in the alley between Waverly and Ryder. They have Ryder tied in. They'll tie in the bore. Then once the gas company gets the gas line at John Avenue fixed, they'll tie it in, and all that area will be on the new line, and they'll start hooking up service. They're going up Euclid, coming up Nichols, Coolidge, and they'll work back towards Woodland. Yeah, back Woodland. So that's their plan, is to head back into Staley in that direction. Contract 4 is the downtown project. They've made it almost to 6th Street or Chestnut Street on both sides, Main and Pike. So they're within a block and a half of being done with the main line. And they've been doing services and testing as they come. They've got to do the tie-ins on the streets between Main and Pike, which won't affect the state project, and then they got to do Traders Out. The sewer project, same thing. They're in the same area down there. They've finished all the main lines and they're doing drop inlets from Wendy's up. They got the north side of the street done yesterday. They're on the south side, and we've been chasing potholes and trying to keep all that. We worked with Independent, the city of Clarksburg, and us today working up. We did all of Main Street, back down Pike Street. Got pretty much everything sealed off for the time being. So that should make, hopefully, it doesn't make it happy.
The
Just
construction,
wants to know where else we're going.
the construction behind the federal courthouse there, used to be the old post office.
Yes.
That's none of our projects.
That's
That's
the gas.
Is it gas?
They're in it.
When I talked to him today, the guy asked, is this gas, water, electric? He says, none. He said, we're just doing sidewalks and repair.
That's probably for the new courthouse they're
For the
building, their
courthouse.
courtrooms they're putting in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised. They had, but it was a mess there. That whole area there getting
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the work is concentrated on the west end now, from Sixth Street back. from
Yeah.
West end.
Paul, you have any questions?
Where everybody is.
I do. For the email that Jason sent out to the contractors in regards to better communication. I know the guys were off, Bobby, like as you mentioned, for a week. The Stanley tie-in, they've had these same signs, since the Hope gas leak behind the alley. If I didn't know, living here, that they were doing work yesterday, I would have been stuck the whole day behind the house. No one's even knocking on the doors. It should be the day beforehand. They didn't do it yesterday. That Dawn said plenty of people that they should knock on the doors, let people know. But I know they're off again. But no one knew. People were stuck. That's the only way or outway behind this alley. And I know individuals are frustrated, but I know Jason sent out that communication email. And I don't know if some of these contractors need to, whoever they're working with, need to have the phone numbers of who they'll be working with on the street. So if there's in this situation where there's no immediate outlet, they need to be making phone calls or doing something, or at least knocking on doors.
Yeah, I sent that to Steve. Did you
Yeah, I'll
disseminate that?
sent that out, and we're gonna discuss that
Tomorrow?
further at tomorrow's meeting.
Yeah, because I think they may have told Bobby, I don't want to know words in your mouth, but that's not their responsibility. That's not their job. Well, I'm sorry. You're an extension of our agency, and you got plenty of guys out there. While one's digging it up, he can be going. I mean, of course, I'm only hearing one side. But, we've had some instances where there was a car in the driveway and they were digging somewhere behind them. I think she could have got out because Bobby went and looked. But in her eyes, she couldn't have got out. So she had to leave her car there and it had to be turned into a rental place. And, nobody came to the door and
It's like,
let them know.
hey, can you let me out? They probably would have put a steel plate over
Yeah.
it.
They would have. They had one ready if you needed it. You just, like I said, we could, in most, 50% of the time you'll knock, nobody answers. So you don't get an answer most of the time when you knock anyway, but.
Right. It's just
In those situations, I believe my suggestion is like on those alleyways. I know it's done and we'll probably move forward, but if they go again, but there's things like that where people are, they should have a sticker just like UPS, how you guys did with the galvanized project, leaving those hangers on there. So that way, have a little stick note, and the day before the guys can go in there, put it on there to know that there's work done. Because I had an interview yesterday. If I wasn't working beforehand, early in the morning, I would have been stuck. I know my neighbors, 2 of their cars were stuck the whole day.
So is this just an alley where they need to get out to the main road?
it's
Digging
it's the only access. It's their only access.
So we digging up the alley?
And it goes like 4 feet deep, right in the middle of it.
You're right. It's right in the middle of the alley.
So,
And it's not, but in situations, there's other things like that. But
so they can move the car elsewhere the night before, park someplace else.
I mean, we have an RPR, but with just one person, they need to share in the responsibility. We're gonna take care of that tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
You know,
They're paid pretty good to do it.
you know, while they're getting everything ready, they can be notified customers.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they'll talk about it tomorrow.
and,
Yes, we are.
you know, it's, as long as we attempt it, you know, yeah, they don't come to the door. He's right. You know, they don't, you know. But that's the first thing I ask them when they call in. Did you go out and ask them? Well, no, they call in here. It's like, go out your front door and say, hey, I need to go downtown and can I get out? Yeah. You know, we'll slide a plate over and let you out. Just communicate. Just
I've knocked on doors, left the door hanger, walked back out my truck, let the drive off, seen the person open the door, reach out, and grab the door hanger.
When you just think,
Yeah. At least we can tell
I am intimidated. I do that.
You'd scare me to death.
I do.
them, once they, but if we make this a common practice, we can tell them, well, we know they come to your door to let you know. As long as we are,
Yeah.
you know, consistent on what we do, we can say, hey, I know they went to your door.
Yeah.
You know, now we don't know because we know they're not doing it.
Well, we're gonna talk this to death right now. We're gonna address it tomorrow. You got a meeting.
Good job with the door hangers on the front, but people know on Waverly, you know, had all the information, had a door hanger right on there. And it was right there, accessible, very professional. Whoever did that, appreciate it, it looked great.
So Steve, we're going part of the way there. We just need to just be consistent in what we do.
Okay, let's move on.
Thank you, Chad.
Any other questions on this? Okay. Bobby, I'm finished with your report. Okay.
All right, phase 3B, an update. Steve?
Update, we're still working through the plans, making the changes that we discussed in a meeting a few weeks ago, and continuing on that. And we're gonna schedule another sit down to go through the next contract. I'm gonna say maybe 45 days out. I'll have a better answer. Next meeting, I'll have a better answer when I think that will be due to sit down and go through the next project, next contract.
So the next contract, so contract 2. I'm going to real quick go back to 3A. Here over the last 2 weeks, of course, we know Mother Nature has been really hard on this agency with what they call weather. We've had many freeze ups, not all on this project, but there's a good deal on this project. We've had some meter freeze ups on our existing system. You want to go over that, Steve, about the specs on the locations of the new meter setters by the bid specs, and what you sent me an email on yesterday about maybe a correction to that?
Yes. So our spec, I think it requires the meter to be somewhere around like 15 inches in the pit. Basically, the theory behind it is you get it in the center of the pit, and the cold air and warm air, it's supposed to circulate in kind of the middle of the pit's kind of the sweet spot where it should, you know, not as likely to freeze. However, it was extremely cold for 3 weeks, which was very unusual. And there's things you can do to prevent that up front, which it's all boils down to economics. You know, you can buy insulated meter pits, but do you want to spend the money to buy insulated meter pits when it may have this many freeze ups once every 10 years, 15 years? You can also buy insulation to put in the tops. So normally, you know, what's being installed is normally what you see. And, you know, because normally we don't have 30 below temperatures, not that it's 30 below, but like extended temperatures below freezing for 3 weeks or whatever it was. However, there were a few where the meters were installed too high. The contractors are going to go back and lower those. So some of those were improperly installed. So we're going to give the contractor to address those.
Were there ones down on Liberty Avenue by any chance?
Yeah, there were a couple on Liberty Avenue, but they were
They were
basically
deep enough.
where they needed to be, if I remember right.
They were
14,
they were
one was-
installed properly.
One was 14, one was 9.
What's our frost line?
Probably, I'm guessing 30 inches or so.
Yeah,
Yeah, meter
so
pits
people
are
never
they're
reach
30-inch pits. And that's what I explained to the council last night. They had the same issue in another town. They're like, well, what do we do? It's like, well, one thing is if you could put it deeper, but then the poor guy that has to go out there and change the meter, now, you know,
He'll stand on his
somebody's gonna
head.
hold him by his feet to reach down the pit to be able to reach it. Yeah, physically reach down there and change meters. Or you, I would say, invest in insulated pits or insulated plates, but I did tell Jason, maybe the ones that did freeze, there's basically a styrofoam wedge that you just put in at the top of the meter pit and get 2, 4, 6 inch thick insulation. So, and it's like a $35 item. So if you got a history of that particular meter freezing, you know, that's probably an alternative to insulate the top of that pit.
Cheaper than insulation. We've got $1,000 worth of insulation you bought.
Yeah, we usually put put 8 or 10 bags in a well, a small bag, and break it up and bag it. So we get a couple hundred bags of insulation out of that. Yes, sir.
So I wanted you all.
How many people are we talking about?
We had 6 that were on the last batch. You haven't given me this batch.
Yeah, we got all.
We probably had 6 on the last batch, and there was probably 12 of that more that were existing. So we probably had 18 the first go around, and then I don't know what second go
That's
around was.
probably 3 or 4 times that.
The second go around.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were refreeze.
Was it just the new meter installations or was it a mix of both?
It was a mix.
It was mixed.
Yeah, it was a mix.
The new ones seem like they sit up differently than the older settings, where they come into like a.
Some of
If
them
it's an
are-
old setting, it's
some
set on
we
the
didn't
bottom.
have the yokes and actually using the meter settings.
Yeah, the yolks lay on the ground, where the other ones have a 12-inch rise up from the bottom. So
So
you're
is
losing a
that
foot.
15 nominal to the ground or is it to the meter?
Meter.
Or to the meter? Sounds good.
Okay,
All right, so that's all for 3A, 3B. Any questions on that? Then we're gonna move into actionable items on the projects.
we need to approve some bills.
Yes, I just want to make sure any project got any questions.
Any questions to these guys? Any more? Okay, let's move into the.
Now we're going on the actionable items. All right, we'll just go on the list here. So we've got payment requisition number 15 for phase 3A, and we've got Todd White here going to be presenting that.
Okay, so requisition 15, we got activities on contracts 1, 2, and 4. Thrasher had an invoice as well as Region 6. Then there's just one address in there for reimbursement, Clarksburg Water Board for the customer side of the LSL replacement. Total requisition 15 is $1,448,044.53.
Okay, let's take these one at a time.
I'll make a motion to approve pay requisition number 15, phase 3A in the amount of $1,448,044.53.
Okay, motion on the floor. Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? This is pretty straightforward. It's all been reviewed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's go to the
And
next.
the next one is payment requisition or payment reimbursement, as what Todd puts down as, we'll call reimbursement. Yeah. Number 6. That's for the customer-led service line replacements by Mid-State Plumbing and Air. That is, and look at it, I gotta break it up.
Going down to it.
$400.
Yes, $3,400.
I make a motion that we approve the requisition number 6, the amount of $6,400.
Yeah, for $3,400, and that's invoice.
3,400.
I'll
That's
second
invoice
that
number
motion.
186.
It's been moved and seconded. This is the lead line replacement. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay, so the next one.
Pressure releasing valves.
Yes, it's the pressure reducing valves, and it's for $600. And it's for 2 locations, as you can see on there, 303 Heartland Avenue and 168 Park Boulevard. And you can see there's pictures that they had to provide of those locations.
I'll make the motion to approve the payment in the amount of $600 for the installation of pressure reducing valves.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, seconded. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Again, it's straightforward. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Next invoice.
Okay, so the next one is change order number 1, and that is for contract 4. That is for Independent Enterprises Incorporated. You all remember the last time, Steve presented it and said that he was gonna have to go back and do a revision to it because of some increase in pricing for those, insertion valves that we put in on West Pike Street.
Yeah.
So since then, we've met with Core and Main and, Independent Enterprises to come to a resolution to that matter. And with that, I'll open the floor up to Steve, and he can explain, what's transpired with those, discussions.
Okay, Steve.
Yes, so we met with Core and Main to see why that price had increased. And so we learned to find out that the original price on ductile iron pipe, and with this was actually cast iron pipe. Some of it was what they called a double oversized pipe. Some was just oversized gas pipe. So apparently with that, there is an increase in the cost. And then they also have to go in and shave the bottom of the valve so it actually seals properly inside the pipe. Just looking at some of my notes here, and in the meantime, that original quote was like back in May, and there have been 2 price increases through the company since then. They also had to have a sub come in from Bristol, Tennessee, that actually that assisted with that. And so I think they were truthful with us, Jason and I. We met with them last Friday. And it seems like they're truthful with their cost and the actual cost of the work to perform this work.
This is independent? See what we're talking about?
It's so Core and Main is the sub to Independent, and then this other company is basically a sub to Core and Main, because Core and Main does not do this work. And so one good thing about this, Independent did not mark up their price. They kept their price fixed. They did not, because Core and Main's price went up, they didn't mark it up.
Good.
So I think everybody's making a good faith effort to do what's right for the cost of the work.
And what they did do, because of the miscommunication between Core and Main, Independent, and the Water Board, we did get the price reduced, $4,950. $4,950, and that was basically the commission off the job for Core and Main. So they did share into the, they understood while we were kind of concerned the mix up and the different pricing and all this. So we did ask for a reduction, and they did give us $4,950. So I was thankful for that, because they really didn't have to do any of that, but they did because we're a big customer.
Yeah.
A real big customer.
So I do have the new change order with that reflected price. You had approved the last change
So
order
we'll
at
need
the
to-
last meeting.
we'll need to
but we
rescind
never
that, correct?
executed it.
And then approve this one. Okay. So there's 2 motions you'll need.
So this new change order is in the amount of $600,119.60.
So we'll need a motion to rescind change order number 1 for contract 4 that was previously approved.
Okay, Paul.
Make a motion to rescind the previous.
Change order 1, contract 4.
Thank you. Change order 1, contract 4.
Okay. Second, there's a second on that?
Second, yes.
Okay. Ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve new change order number 1, contract 4, in amount of $600,119.60.
Yes.
Good job, Paul. Boom.
He's right on top, guys.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor again, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The only thing you forgot to do is drop the mic. And again, I want to thank Core and Main for working with us on the price difference. They want to make that public, that they were very gracious of working with us. All right, moving on to phase 3B, requisition number 2, Todd Whitehair.
Okay, you got an invoice from Thrasher for design on 3B. This is that money that we're going to reimburse the water board for the project when 3B gets underway. Thrasher's invoice was $187,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the invoice for Thrasher, $187,000.
Okay, motion on the floor. Is there a second to the motion? Okay, any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Well, a lot of work on that one, so we're gonna move on to Snake Hollow Road Water Line Extension Project. We'll let Steve Haynes give you a project update, and then we've got an actual item under a certificate of substantial completion upon his update. So with that, Steve.
Yes, so basically, we're working with the contractor to get all the closeout documents in place. They did complete all the work, and so I have presented the substantial completion of,
You got for June the 10th, 25.
Actually completed that work.
I agree with that. I agree with that date.
So, yeah, that's when they got everything completed. That basically starts their warranty period as well. But yeah, we're working with them. We got to get releases from all their suppliers, and we've got a whole checklist of items released. And that's how this whole originally we added some additional riprap as the DEP went to close out the stormwater permit. They requested some additional riprap, et cetera. So we're going through all of our checklist of project closeout documents. I would say hopefully in the next 30 days, we'll have everything to get that project wrapped up.
Any questions, guys, to Steve on this? Okay,
Just need a motion for approval of the certificate of substantial completion.
that's what I'm looking for here. These things are not in any order like we're discussing it.
Oh, yeah, they're right in order.
I'll make a motion to accept the certificate of substantial completion.
I second that.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, my gosh, I worked hours so
I'm
through.
sure you did, but I went
on page
first
97.
right down through it. I lost it.
We're on page 99 now.
Yeah.
I even flipped it where you didn't have to turn your head sideways.
Yeah.
So the next one is the Second Street Pump Station project. Steve is gonna present an update, probably not an update, but then he also has a pay requisition number 2. So he's standing in for Casey Young.
Yes, so basically Casey let me know that it's expected to be delivered around the second week of March. So it's coming. I'm assuming your crews haven't been able to get any of the prep work done.
I think he's waiting for paint. Did you get an ETA on that today?
No, sir. I got a message out to him, but that's best I can do.
That's kind
I think he wants to start digging next week, but I guess we can.
3 weeks or so. Hopefully the pump station's on site.
Is power up there already?
Yes. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
The power company set the whole few days ago.
Oh, good.
So go ahead and present pay application number 2. Do you have it?
I've got it on my phone here. So it looks like there's a small application with the amount due of $11,944.83. And that's basically, I think, QA, QC review with the plans and
I can't see that.
documents and everything.
Page 100.
Page 100. I'll make a motion to approve the application and certificate for payment in the amount of $11,944.83.
Yeah, I was watching. I was almost down to it. I just couldn't catch up. Okay.
And I guess I need to state that's to EFI Solutions.
To EFI Solutions.
Second.
All right, we've had a motion and it's fully seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 11,000. All right, let's move on to the next.
All right, the TTHM removal project. We don't have Wes on Zoom, so Bob, do you have anything on that?
No, they're just building them.
I mean, we did get the check out to them, sent it to FedEx.
That's the one we approved by email.
Yeah.
Now, how, Mr. Attorney, Since that was handled by email, how do we keep that in our minutes to reflect that your payment of
You're
that?
doing it right now, you're ratifying it right now, that's the next
Okay,
course
that's what I was
of
going
action.
to say, we should do it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to ratify the action we took this week by email.
Yeah, and you've got Todd here to present a reimbursement.
Is that the 549? Okay.
So I've got requisition number 2 in the amount of $549,232.40.
Yeah.
Reimbursement.
And that's the reimbursement. We've already sent a check out on this, but we need to vote to ratify to show our action was taken for the record, okay?
Make a motion.
You made the motion for Chad?
Yes, I did.
Okay, second on it.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We've already approved it. The check's gone out. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's move on.
All right, security enhancement project. Do you want to give an update on that, Paul? What we just did before the meeting?
Well, we discussed with one of our engineers about the design. We're looking at the doors in front. We'll consider a couple options, also doors in the back, how easy it is to retrofit them. And we discussed about keeping a bathroom open for the public. I think that's important, but there'd be cost savings if we didn't do that. If we could eliminate a couple doors, so we're still in discussion about that. So, but it looks like it's going to be moving forward. It should be good for the plan.
Excellent update. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, the newspapers here, it's to protect our properties, access to materials that could be a problem for us if somebody would mess with it, you know, and so that's what we're doing. And we've been looking at this for some time now, but it's, this is all basically deal with doors and access. But it's multi-level, we'll be getting to cameras and other things we've looked at, but this is just one of the first steps. And like Paul said, they're reviewing it right now, the engineering firm, and looking at what we can do in the most reasonable way. That's what we're doing. Anything else on that? Thank you, Paul. Good report. Anything else? Okay, let's move on.
Okay, we're looking at the O&M agreement that we have with Shoreline PSD. I don't really have any update. It's just business as usual. Clyde's still working. As of this Friday, he will be finished with the conversion, total conversion for Shoreline PSD. And then he's going to be turning that work over to Bobby's department. He's going to have staff go out there because remember last time I told you there was about 300 taps. We have record of taps that are not in the billing system. So they're going to have to go actually physically out there on location to confirm those taps are still there.
Yeah.
And they're still serviceable because those need to have meters in them. Or, you know, for security reasons, if somebody would turn them on, it's taking water without actually having an account.
Are these taps in a map system or are they on a
They're just listed.
wild goose hunt?
They're on Wild Goose Hunt. Yeah. Yeah. They are in a manual meter book in order, so we can kind of say between this location and this location, they're in there somewhere. So we're going to do our best to work, you know, to try to figure those out.
We got a lot of work.
You know, like we talked about last time, mail forwarding has slowed some people's payments up. You know, we've had some calls from board members, we've had some calls from the public and our customers out there. Hopefully people will start using our address instead of using Shoreline's address.
Have we told them that in their mail?
Yes, it's,
Okay.
yeah,
Because I've been questioned about that.
yeah, within the first letter we sent out, and even on the back of the old billing cards, it had our address on it. But, you know, people's routine.
If their bank's paying it, they got to call their bank. They're not, you know.
Yeah, the bank still probably has the old address.
And they've got to have it and they just don't look for that information.
It's a habit, yeah. So just working out those things, but people's not getting penalties, people's not getting shut off because of the late payments or anything like that. We're working with the customer.
So these late payment notices, they're automatic
automated.
generated.
Yeah.
So there's no way to slow that down.
So it automatically goes out. If they have any balance in the past due column, they automatically get calls. They automatically get those notices. We just tell them to disregard them. Don't worry about it.
And this has to do honestly with everything we're doing, whether it's line replacements or whatever, there's always that growing pain.
Yeah.
And the transition to something new.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect world, but it will all be corrected. And we're
Yeah.
not we're not going to harm people, so.
No, we're working with people, and they've been really understanding.
Thank you, manager. Any comments, Chad, anything? Okay. All right,
Summit Park Public Service District. We had a status meeting yesterday over at the Summit Park office, going over some items as we approach the April 1st date. Everybody's on the same page, working together with the city. Just saying that, you know, we don't need any of those office furniture. I think they're gonna work through the commission and donate them to the fire department over there at Summit Park. You know, there's very little things we need, locators, things like that. We're gonna take maps, we're gonna take billing system, software, all the stuff. Of course, we're gonna take all that, but very little assets that we're gonna get from it, because most of the assets over there are owned by the sewer. I'll have him go through some of the deedable properties that we're going to get from the acquisition. That surprised me. I didn't realize it was in the water owned it on the water side. So it's something we can look at. If we need it, keep it. If we don't, maybe sell it down the road. But with that, you can kind of go over the nuts and bolts and the closeout stuff.
First of all, the staff to staff has been excellent. Both the PSD and the water and the sanitary boards are working together well.
Yep.
As far as the detailed execution of a plan, there's no better man than Jason. So
Appreciate that.
I think we've got the i's dotted and the t's crossed here. Our concern is that property gets dispersed properly, no pilferage. We'll make sure that the county commission's involved with how we dispose of the excess property. I've gone through all the property records. There are 2 deeds and several easements that we're going to acquire from the PSD. And I'll work with Jason on getting those mapped, and hopefully by the next meeting, you'll see exactly where those parcels are and what we're acquiring. And Jason will at that point be ready to tell you whether we need to keep them or not. Fairly straightforward as far as closing goes. We have the tariff that we're going to discuss here, I suppose, next. That's one of the closing details is to enact a tariff. Recall when you're considering the tariff, if I could just roll into that. We're going to keep the Summit Park water rates as is for 90 days. And that's to satisfy an objection of the PSC staff with regard to some of the ancillary charges. We've discussed that in the past. I think Jason's done an excellent job combining that into one tariff. And on the day 91, they're going to get the rates that everybody else pays the Clarksburg system. So that's where we're at, subject to your questions. I think we'll do a final trial balance before the closing date, so our numbers guys are going to know where all the money is as we move forward. The water enterprise at the PSD is fairly bare bones operation, and really doesn't own any of the real property that the PSD has, including the truck property. But, so it's a fairly simple transaction from our perspective. I think what you'll see is improved service in the Summit Park PSD service area because our professionals will be out there looking, making improvements and providing that service.
Are we operating in that area now?
We are, yeah. If any of the call outs, anything, time they have any line breaks, leaks, we send our staff over. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're already responding over there. Bob's already doing starting into the sampling and taking over that kind of duty and stuff.
And once in our system, Bob, you won't have to do a separate sampling for them, will you?
No, once their PWS ID number goes away, no. I mean, we'll still get a spot check.
Sure.
What we're supposed to do, but their compliance testing will go away.
And speaking of the PWS ID number, Bob attended their, is that today?
Yeah, it was sanitary survey.
Yeah, the sanitary survey over at Summit Park today. They need a letter from us, and I believe, Tim, you want to let them know when we're closing and when they're going to basically cease and desist business over there, because that PWS ID number will go away.
Yes, sir. Do you have any idea? I'll work with you on what's our target date on that? The transition, actually final transition.
April 1st.
April 1st, still April 1st. Yes, sir. It's coming along pretty quick.
It is, and we're making great progress because everybody's working well.
Good deal.
And with that deadline, starting next week, Gladys will be working from home. because the program that he used at another client's years ago, the program that they have over there, it is completely different. So he is going to have to start from scratch and build a program to do the conversion. And it's going to take him a long time. He can't do that kind of work here because he gets bothered too many times. So he's going to be working from home, and we will see him when he is finished. That deadline is really going to pinch, but we're going to make it. We're going to make it. And, but in order to meet that done, he's got to work from home.
Yeah.
Because when you program, you can't be bothered. I mean, it's really tedious work. He done wonders for Shoreline, doing the conversion over. I mean, like I said, it was seamless. So, but we're going to meet the deadline. We're going to make this roll. So April 1st, Summit Park will no longer be an entity.
Chad, any questions from you?
No question.
Oh, okay. Let's move on.
Okay, so
thank you guys for doing all this.
So I did this on purpose because basically whoever wants to make the motion can go through and read exactly what I have on the screen here. That's actually on your divider sheet here. I know Paul brought it up. We can nix it and address it some other time. It doesn't matter. We can make changes. But I did increase the bulk water rate to $5.50 because there needed to be an increase because one, we have an investment down here, that bulk water system. So it is justified to increase that rate. But if you want to not deal with that right now and deal with it on the next rate increase, that's a 2-second change there.
So you're combining the Summit Park issue along with the bulk water into one motion.
Yeah, one
Yeah, 'cause
application to the PSC.
yeah, it's just, yeah, if you're going to make a change, you can make it now because it's all inclusive.
I mean, it's not an application to the PSC, we're gonna tell them what you did.
Yeah.
And get the pass on it. It's up to you.
Yeah, no, they have no.
We just have to notify them.
What's
Well,
the
no
reason?
jurisdiction.
It's on the agenda. Is there a reason not to go ahead and do this?
So this the ordinance 2026-01?
Yeah, Paul, you want to do that? Just
Okay,
read it.
I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance number 2026-01, first reading, introduced by the Clarksburg Water Board to establish the rates, fees, and charges for the customers of Waterworks System in Harrison County, West Virginia. This ordinance maintains the current Summit Park Public Service District rates until June 30th, 2026, after which those rates will align with the Clarksburg Water Board standard rates. It also increases the bulk water rate from $5 to $5.50 per 1,000 gallons.
Yeah.
That's the motion. Is there a second to the motion? Okay, he seconded it. Thank you, Chad. Any further discussion?
Just want to make it clear that bulk water rate is when we sell bulk water to customers, it's not a rate increase for our retail
That
customers.
is correct. It's bulk water from hydrants from our bulk water station down here. Yeah, nothing to do with resale.
Thanks for being clear about
Well,
yeah.
Resale customers. And I'm out there at Summit Park. It's people living in their homes, individuals and so on, businesses and whatever, but it's not this people coming from like get hydrant use.
Yeah, that's when they come
From
in
bulk
and buy
water
their
for
water.
industrial use or whatever, farm use, whatever.
Mostly gas well companies.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. All in
Aye.
favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, it's aye. Fully approved.
Mr. President, we'll advertise this for a second reading and public hearing.
So people will know.
People will know.
Okay,
Participate.
all right.
Okay, the last thing is wanted you all to consider as a feasibility study for a secondary raw water supply. I just got notification, yesterday from Region 6 Planning Development Council that they've assigned our very own Todd Light here to work with me, pending your all's decision today to consider pursuing a $50,000 source water protection grant from the West Virginia Bureau for Public Health Office of Environmental Health Services to fund a feasibility study on establishing a secondary raw water supply. And I've got my proposal on there that I sent to Region 6 kind of to get them to go. Again, it's in draft form. Once we put the application together, it's going to change, but it's to get us ready to build a secondary source where we can apply for grants and stuff. Because we have no secondary source. We only have one source. So if something happens here, we're dead in the water.
Well, it's
No pun
a
intended.
feasibility study, so they could come back and say it's not feasible, right?
They very would come back and say it's not feasible.
Okay. Yeah. I don't see any harm in doing this. We ought to be doing it anyway to protect our customers.
Yeah.
And our ratepayers. And if it's feasible and we can afford it, we need to do it as a backup.
And there's no match. This is 100% grant.
So,
I'll make a motion to approve.
okay. It's moved and seconded that we approve a feasibility study for secondary raw water supply. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, we're down to board member employee reports. Paul, you have anything?
No.
Al?
No.
Chad?
I just look at forward to the conversation you had with on the contract about communication tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be done tomorrow.
Yeah, that's been discussed already today.
Yep.
All righty. Anything new, Chad? Anybody else going around the room here?
We got, I had Tom, he is going to explain, I brought up in my reports last week about the 2 advertisement for bids projects that we have. Tom is actually ahead of those projects. So he's spearheading, that's the word I'm looking for. He's spearheading those 2 projects, working with Bob Davis on it. So you want to go over, start with the chiller unit for the building and kind of go over where we're at.
Oh, yeah, we had discussion on this.
We had the pre-bid for the chiller unit yesterday. We had 4 companies interested, then it was a mandatory pre-bid, and we had 4 companies who was interested, and so I was pleased with that. One company didn't came that we invited, but others did that we didn't particularly, so it was a good meeting. We had a couple of questions. I got an addendum out today that shows answer to the one question they brought up when they need to answer the other question, or they need to send them in. So that's done. And I've not had any questions yet on the sediment basin improvements that we're buying equipment. Bob is going to actually install it, so his crews are going to install it. I've not had any questions on it yet.
Well, let's say something here. We have media people here. We have people on television. And someone, we just gloss over stuff. We talk a chiller thing. Why don't you describe what we're going to do? Okay.
That Bob has been, and he could chime
Or
in,
whoever,
but
somebody
he-
describe to our ratepayers what we're talking about.
We have had problems with our cooling system for a number of years, I guess. Bob has been band-aiding it and putting it together and keeping it going. And the board approved monies to redo, maintain, and replace a good bit of that equipment. And so we had a pre-bid meeting for that contract yesterday.
Okay.
And then also we have put advertised for the first of 4, if I'm right, Bob? Over the next 4 years, we're gonna need to do some maintenance on the sedimentation basins. And so we advertised the equipment for the first sediment basin improvements as along with that same time frame, and those we'll get bids in on all of that around the 24th of February.
Simplify.
That's for materials only.
Simplifying it again. Okay. Sediment basin. Bob, tell them what the sediment basin is about. That's the news media and
The
so.
sedimentation basin is basically where we settle out all the mud out of the water.
It's solids and stuff in the water to get it out.
It goes to the bottom, and then we have equipment that takes it to the end to get rid of it. That's the equipment that we're going to change out.
Okay.
It's changed in sprockets. Is that what it is?
Sprockets and chains, yes.
They have pools and stuff that are to remove.
Yeah.
Okay, I just, some people, we talk in our own language, and I've tried so many times to say, since we do televise this,
We just take it for granted. Yeah,
we
you're
take
right.
it for granted. Everybody knows our acronyms and our
Yeah.
wording. So thank you for that clarification. Anything else?
Bob, you don't have anything, do you?
Bunch of tired guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You
Jason?
guys have been great during all this weather and stuff.
Okay.
I can't
We don't need to go to executive session. I'll always
Okay.
put it on there just in case.
Gotcha. Well, I hope everybody has a nice, lovely Valentine's Day. Paul, you bought your sweetheart a Valentine. How about you,
I'll
Chad?
take it.
No.
I got a 2 for 1 for me. Heather's birthday's on Valentine's Day, so.
Happy birthday.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a nice Valentine's Day. We'll see you at the next meeting. How about a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
We already had the motion. He beat you to the punch. Will you second that? Okay, all in favor? Thank you all. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, Chad.